This gentleman here is an educator by vocation, and it's all around, his life is based all around transmitting knowledge as he understands it. But today we are living in an age, in a world where pretty much all the knowledge that's out there that's being produced is geared towards or entrenched in consumerism. People have increasingly shorter attention spans. Everybody wants everything yesterday. We are living in an age where even shorts, people are watching at 2x, 3x, and they just want to scrub through, don't want to spend. They will be doom scrolling for 6 hours, but they don't want to spend 30 seconds on a short. They just want even shorter, and they want to move to the next one. In a world like this, how do we possibly create education or systems that are uplifting for society and not really leading them down the rabbit hole of constant dopamine release with this content consumption and the rest? Is that more or less the question? So we are up against some very powerful players. People who've spent billions and billions of dollars in building phenomenal systems to hold your attention. It's truly like David versus Goliath, and there's one single individual, you, who's trying to make sense of the world, who's trying to lead a life free of distractions. So many people here and in our world outside decide to lead their life a certain way. I won't do this, I won't do that, I will study for 6 hours or 4 hours, I will exercise, I will read instead of going on Instagram and Netflix and what have you. But all those things go outside out the window the moment you open your screen on your laptop or on your phone, and off you go, scroll, scroll, scroll up, scroll up, scroll up, scroll up, like, or heart, or whatever it's called. So I think, particularly in this country, it's a global phenomenon and a global issue and a global problem. But particularly in this country, I feel teachers are severely underpaid. If you really want to attract the best of the best minds who are going to shape future generations, those minds have to be paid extremely well for them it to be worth it to step into that profession. If you look at some of the other OECD countries, and notably Finland and so on, teaching profession is one of the highest paid professions. So I feel two kinds of people should be extremely well paid in a good country, a country that's supposed to go anywhere: teachers and politicians. You may think it's, I said it in jest, but not really, because if you want the absolute best to govern your nation, you have to reward them beyond their wildest dreams, rather than enabling systems in which they reward themselves and not tell you, which is what's happening. So if we want good teachers to shape future generations, they have to be paid way more than any other profession. So we can attract the best of the best. Only then we can hope to create a society where genuine knowledge is being transmitted. They will go the extra mile. They'll work hard and harder to ensure that kids receive the value they are supposed to receive. And China is a phenomenal example for that matter. In one fell swoop, last year or the year before, I think 24 or so, they banned all private tuitioning and coaching centers. They killed a multi-billion-dollar industry in one single move overnight. And the logic or the rationale or the reasoning they gave was this was affecting the education system of the country. more and more children, more and more parents were relying less and less on traditional schools and colleges and universities and counting on private institutes. As a result, the quality of education in those established institutions was going down because they were motivated by money to go and teach in private settings. And that had a remarkable impact on the economy, on the country as a whole. That's what a country with a vision does. So when we are competing against giant players, the top 6 or 7 companies, tech companies in the world, all of them American, their market capitalization is the equivalent of 20% of the world's GDP. Imagine. 6 or 7 companies, Amazon, Microsoft, Meta, Alphabet, and Apple. Now, NVIDIA is right up there too. Look at the amount of wealth. And what is their sole goal? Their sole goal is to increase their wealth. And how will they do that? If more and more users use more and more of their products, more and more of the time. So they will do everything they can to hook you in, to retain your attention, to keep it that way. So first of all, we have to recognize the challenge is massive. The challenge is extraordinary, it's huge, it's humongous. Almost like a national level policy and implementation of it thereof is needed to combat this. At an individual level, you really need to create the right kind of conditions, which leads me to an extremely important point. See, your value and your worth is not an absolute thing. It's all relative. How much you make, how much your ideas are valued, how far you go in life, a lot of that depends on what kind of conditions you are surviving in. There was a famous violin player. It's a real-life experiment that happened in year 2007 by Washington Post. And he was playing on a $3.5 million violin. And he had a sold-out concert in the US. I can't recall the name of the place right now. And then 2 days later, he discreetly, but being himself, stood in a railway station with the intent to do some busking, and is playing his same violin, $3.5 million violin, a master of his craft. And he collected barely $23 or $27 playing whole day, out of which $20 were given by one individual who recognized him. And the rest was his only collection. It's like, think of a bottle of water. You buy it in a convenience store at Costco or something, it might be, 50 cents or $1. You go out, you buy it in a restaurant, and it may be $2 or $3. You buy it in a 5-star, and it could be $6 or $7. You buy it at an airport, and it could be $10. It's the same bottle, but it's being positioned in different conditions. It does not matter what it is that you wish to accomplish in your life. Your job is to create the right conditions or place yourself in an environment that's conducive to the fulfillment of your goal. If you wish to be a world-class swimmer and want to win that medal in the Olympics in swimming, I don't see why you should migrate to the Sahara Desert. desert. You've got to be where there is water, where you can swim, where you can do your laps, where you can get the right nutrition and so on. So whether it is acquisition of knowledge, transmission of knowledge, retention of that knowledge, absorption of that knowledge, application of that knowledge, or anything else to do with that knowledge, whatever be your goal, you have to ask yourself one fundamental question, and that is, am I creating the right conditions or not? If you're creating the right conditions, the probability of you hitting your goals starts to go up significantly. So whether that's at home or elsewhere at work or anywhere, find out what those right conditions are and create those conditions. And you've got to be at the right place. Many years ago, somebody asked me, why is, even with all the challenges we have, why is that so many great minds when it comes to religion and spiritual philosophy emerge from India? It's not necessarily a rich country. We don't really have the luxury to think about God. I mean, we are struggling with the day-to-day. And I said in reply, why is it that some of the world's best and most successful tech companies come out of the Silicon Valley? Right conditions, right ecosystem. You create that, and 80% of the job is done. Just how when COVID hit and human beings retreated into their homes and so on, other animals started coming on the road. Wild animals people hadn't seen in decades. Suddenly the conditions were right for them. So that's really the only way. We need to have a policy, a framework, but this country is too fragmented, too fragile, too frazzled, too broken, too corrupt to have anything like that at this stage. And all we can do is what we can do at an individual level, and that is creating the right conditions and drawing upon every ounce of willpower that we have to succeed. That's my answer.